Finally, we come to 5 minutes of recharge and reflect. Now, the idea here is one of the things I find really helpful is to just spend 30 seconds reflecting on my focus session. So I ask myself, how did that go and what could I have done to make this better? Now, the other day, I did one of these reflections and I realized halfway through my focus session, I had to do a wee. But then when I went downstairs to do a wee, I went on my phone and I opened up YouTube and I started watching a YouTube video. And that derailed my focus session. And so I was like, okay. So clearly I don't want to be watching YouTube videos when I'm in the middle of a focus session. And so I downloaded an app called Opal, which is actually very good. I've been using it for the last few weeks now, which is a basically app blocker. And so I have Opal active before 9 a.m. and after 9 p.m. So if I'm doing early morning focus, it literally doesn't allow me to go on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or Reddit. And in the nighttime as well, it blocks YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit, which are the apps that keep me awake at nighttime. So after 9 p.m., I literally cannot go on YouTube on my phone, which is great because in one fell swoop, this app has improved my ability to sleep. But I think it's useful to download the app. I have no paid affiliation with them, unfortunately. It's just a very good app. And if you get distracted with apps, like sometimes I do, you can then just block them using something like Opal. But this came from reflecting on a focus session and thinking, what could I have done to focus a little bit better? Another reflection that I had recently, this was actually like last week, while I was working on this presentation, is that, I kind of needed to blow my nose and I didn't have any tissues to hand. So I had to leave the desk because it's quite uncomfortable feeling like having the need to blow your nose. I had to leave the desk, go downstairs, realize I didn't have any tissues in the house, go to the bathroom, get some toilet paper out, blow my nose, put it back down, and go to my desk. Kind of derailed my focus a little bit. So when I reflected on that, like what could I have done? I was like, it would actually be quite nice to have some tissues next to me. So I literally went on Amazon and I've got the receipt to prove it. On the 24th of April, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to order a bunch of tissues off of Amazon. And actually, this is said box of tissues, which I now have it was on my desk, but I don't want you to see this in the freaking overhead. So I put it on the floor. I have a box of tissues next to me, which means next time when I'm focusing, I won't need to get up and go to the bathroom to find a tissue. I've just got one next to me. The other thing, which is not in this presentation, is I realized when I was blowing my nose and I had these tissues, I had tissues and stuff piling up on my desk, which is not pleasant and not nice. And it just looks a little bit grim. I was like, where do I bin these tissues when I'm in the middle of focus? And I realized, because in this new flat in London that I've moved to, I don't have a bin. So literally, I went on Amazon and bought a bin for £10. I could have gotten £3, but this was a wooden one that vibed with my desk a little bit more. So now I have a bin next to me that has my protein shake. You can see there's tissues in the bin because I put tissues in the bin. And this it sounds trivial, but focus is such a it's such a fragile thing. If you can make your life easier by not having to get up and do things, even if it's as trivial as a box of tissues or as trivial as having a bin right next to you, honestly, this is the shit that genuinely moves the needle for productivity. Because if you can just stay focused and do that thing and just practice that muscle and not get derailed by having to do other stuff, oh my goodness, it just helps you sit down and do the thing. And the thing we all struggle with is execution, consistency, focus, procrastination, distraction. Not having to do this life admin while you're in the middle of a focus session. Absolutely game changing. But really, the whole point is that you by reflecting on spending 30 seconds to think, okay, what was good about that focus session? What could have been better? You'll come up with these small little tweaks. Maybe for you it's not tissues and it's not like a kitchen bin, but you'll definitely find ways to improve your focus by reflecting on it. And this is, again, vibes with this whole productivity lab, productivity alchemist situation, where it's like, hey, we're all doing experiments and then we're reflecting on them to see how they went, and then we're making changes to our life accordingly. What are the main distractors in your environment? If you think right now, what is one thing that is stopping you from focusing? What are the major distractors in your environment? Cat, kitchen, thoughts, cat, clutter, dogs, Slack, fridge, other tasks, children, messy desk, co-workers, feeling disorganized, lack of attention. So, firstly, we have a bit of a question. Do you measure how much time you focus for each day? Nope. Yes, but not consistently, or consistently. Now, of the people that do it consistently, can you post in the Zoom chat? Because I'm very curious. What value do you get out of measuring how much time you focus for each day? Tayin says personal accountability. Rise helps, gives me wins, insights. Kaylin says seeing what time of day I focus best so I can recreate it. I can see how much deep work it takes to communicate a task. I can improve what I measure, understanding where my time goes. Now, people who do measure their time, their focus time, would you recommend it? Okay, good. That was a bit of a leading question, but that is exactly what I wanted you guys to say. I'm also curious, on average, how many focused hours do you have each working day? Whoa, we've got some people 5 hours per day. That's really good. Okay, very interesting. This is overall, on average in a single day. How many focused hours do you actually have? So this is kind of interesting. You can see what the split of responses amongst Productivity Lab is. And then, a bit of a leading question here, but how do you feel about how much focused deep work you managed to do? I wish I could get more focused work done each week, or I'm totally happy with how much focused work I get done each week. It is a bit of a leading question, but yeah, I love that. Okay, 4 people are totally happy with how much focused work they get done each week. 5, very good. Yeah, I also really wish I could get more focused work done each week, which is partly why we created Productivity Lab, so that I can actually have someone facilitating focus lab sessions. Good. So basically everyone wants to focus a little bit more. Now, this is the key change. If the only change you made to your life was to consistently track your focus minutes, you'd probably double your productivity. If you track your focus, you will probably double your productivity. This is the experiment. This is the bold, clickbaity statement that I'm going to proffer to you for your consideration. If everything else stayed the same and all you did was from now on, you started tracking how much time you're actually focusing, I suspect you would probably double your productivity.